Dear students, I have already uploaded 10 videos on adverb clause. Now I am going to upload some videos on noun clause or nominal clause. And you know that nominal is the adjective form of noun. So noun clause and nominal clause both suggest the same clause. Then what is a noun clause? A clause that acts as a noun is called a noun clause. And what are the functions of noun? Noun can act as subject, object, complement to the verb, complement to the preposition, complement to an adjective, and an apposition. So these 6 functions are also the functions of a noun clause. Then what is a clause? A clause is the part of a sentence with a finite verb in it and having a subject and a predicate of its own. However, let us know what are the functions of noun clause. So noun clause can also act as subject to the verb, object to the verb, complement to the verb, complement to the preposition, complement to an adjective, and noun in apposition or phrase in apposition or case in apposition. However, today's matter of discussion is subject to the verb. A clause that will act as the subject to a verb. Let us take some examples and analyze them to enter the matter. Now you may take your exercise book and your pen to take down the examples and their analysis. The first sentence that I am going to tell you to write down is, just write down, where the child was born is unknown to the people. I am repeating the sentence. Where the child was born was unknown to the people. Now number 1, and give the first bracket. Where the child was born, first bracket close, was unknown to the people. The total is principal clause, because where the child was born is acting as the subject to the verb is unknown. So it is a principal clause. And number 2, where the child was born is noun clause, and subject to the verb is unknown in clause number 1. So the noun clause is acting as the subject to the verb. Okay. Now I am taking another example. Example number 2. Please write down how he rescued the drowning child. How he rescued the drowning child was a mystery to the police. How he rescued the drowning child was a mystery to the police. Now clause number 1. Give the first bracket. How he rescued the drowning child and close the bracket was a mystery to the police. The total is principal clause. The total is principal clause. And number 2, how he rescued the drowning child is subordinate noun clause. Is subordinate noun clause. And subject to the verb is. Subject to the verb is in clause number 1. So, how he rescued the drowning child is acting as the subject to is a mystery to the people. Now, let us take the third example. Please write it down in your exercise book. That he was a gentleman. That he was a gentleman was revealed ultimately. That he was a gentleman was revealed ultimately. Now clause number 1, give the first bracket. Give the first bracket. That he was a gentleman, keep it within first bracket. Begin with first bracket. That he was a gentleman, close the first bracket. Close the first bracket. Was revealed ultimately. And the total is principal clause. Total is principal clause. And number 2, that he was a gentleman. That he was a gentleman is subordinate noun clause. And this noun clause is acting as the subject to was revealed. Was revealed in clause number 1. Do you understand? And let us take another example, that is the fourth example. If I can see the sunrise is a matter of doubt. If I can see the sunrise is a matter of doubt. Number 1, give the first bracket. If I can see the sunrise, close the first bracket, is a matter of doubt, is a total. The total is principal clause. Number 2, if I can see the sunrise, subordinate noun clause. And this noun clause is acting as the subject to this noun clause is acting as the subject to is in clause number 1. In clause number 1. Now write down the fifth example. Please write down the fifth example. When the train will reach the station, when the train will reach the station has not been announced. When the train will reach the station has not been announced. Number 1, give the first bracket. When the train will reach the station, close the first bracket, has not been announced. The total is principal clause. Principal clause. Number 2, when the train will reach the station is subordinate noun clause, and this subordinate noun clause is acting as the subject to has not been announced. Has not been announced in clause number 1. So, you see that a noun clause may easily act as the subject to the verb, and you remember that when the noun clause becomes subject to the verb, the sentence begins with the noun clause. It may begin with that, it may begin with when, it may begin with where, it may begin with why, etc. Remember it. And in my next meeting, I will discuss about object to the verb. Good night, my friends.